As a reminder for the participants, so this is the session on interoperable charging and parking platform. So in this session, we have Maria Tomas, who's a project manager at ETRA Investigation in Desarrollo, who's also the project manager, project coordinator, for Usergy. And we will also have a presentation from Richard Kemmerzehl, project manager e-mobility from Gewobag, and Claudia Baumgartner from VMZ, who will present how the tools that are developed in Usergy are tested in Berlin. So Maria, I will give you the floor to present the in-car platform and the tools that are developed in this project.
Okay, thank you very much, Thomas. Good afternoon, everybody. So yeah, if you were present at the introductory session, I will follow the Antonio introduction, and I will try to explain how we are boosting the zero-emission mobility in the Usergy project, going into detail into one of our main products, which we called in-car. It is a charging and parking platform that that aims to make all of the charging station interoperable. I hope you can see my screen already.
If you could just switch to presentation mode, because it's rather small right now.
Really? Oh, okay. I thought I was in the presentation mode. So, okay. Let me try again.
Well, now we cannot see your screen.
Yeah, I am doing it again. So,
all right, and now
can you see it in full screen? Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, by means of the example of in-car, I will also try to show everybody which is the process that we are following in order to design and develop all of the solutions in the Usergy project, because our mindset is always the same: is try to understand the user needs and develop solutions in order to overcome the existing barriers. And in-car is a very illustrative, as I think, example where the technical and legal implications of something that we cannot see and sometimes cannot either understand, such as, for example, communication protocols, different stakeholders, the need for bilateral agreements, accounting practices, payment processes, make something that is obvious for everybody, like that all of the charging points that are publicly accessible should be also accessible for every user that arrives there. It's something that is just a dream nowadays. And with in-car, we would like to make public our research and to provide an integrated solution to this problem. Okay, and why we need an interoperable charging and parking platform to overcome this interoperability barrier, and how can we locate these kind of solutions in the electromobility ecosystem. Okay, so on the one hand, we have the user needs that Antonio mentioned at the introductory session, and most of them are around the same idea, that there is a lack of information and there is a lack of accessibility and there is a lack of standardization of interoperability. So the users have these different ways to express the need, but everybody can understand that there is a problem with the information available, the charging point status, the availability, the accessibility, that prevent the user from having a satisfactory charging experience that is causing what we usually call or hear the charging anxiety. But our work as technological providers is, of course, to translate these needs into the technical language and to understand why we are having this lack of communication and accessibility. So if you look into the diagram on the left, you can see a very basic representation of the current electromobility ecosystem. Let me explain it quickly. We have the EV driver that have a contract with an EMSP that provides her or him an application, a mobile application, for example, and a set of services and a set of charging points. And on the other hand, we have the CPOs that are operating the charging points. Normally, the EMSPs and the CPOs have bilateral agreements, and the EV drivers can have access to the charging points that are connected, let's say. But currently, what is happening is what is represented in this diagram. The user can go to only a part of the charging points because it's impossible to have bilateral agreements and it's very complicated have this kind of bilateral relationship between the EMSPs and the CPOs. So what are we trying with the INCAR platform is to connect, to link all of the CPOs and all of the EMSPs in only one node through the technically through the open protocol OCPI. And in addition, we are providing a set of services in the cloud, such as real-time information of the charging point status, integrating an automated payment system for CPOs and EMSPs, the integration with parking barriers, the smart charging or booking or routing services integrated in the same platforms. And the most important thing that we are building this based on the OCPI protocol, which is publicly accessible and open, and providing those services in only one application, but maintaining the user, that allowing the user to maintain the same contract or the existing contract that they have with their EMSP. So if we go more in the technical detail, we have two front ends. That is one application, mobile application for the EV driver, and one website for operators, for EMSPs and CPOs. But these front ends are supported by a very powerful backend that contains all of the services that we are providing: the authentication, the routing, the interoperability and roaming, of course, the dashboards with the statistical information, and the accounting and payment process. All of these services are provided to the CPOs and the EMSPs. I will not go very in detail because we don't have time, but if anybody is interested, of course, I can provide more technical information. And the following question is okay, where is the innovation of the INCAR platform? So we are innovating in three aspects, mainly in three aspects: on the design, because INCAR has been designed based on a user-centric approach, and the INCAR requirements has been defined in collaboration with the rest of the partners, and we have followed the results of the user research. Also, there are very innovative services, everything integrated in the same platform and available to all the CPOs, EMSPs, and of course, all the EV drivers. INCARS offers innovative services such as booking, routing, real-time information, parking, and payment in all of the charging points. what removes the existing barriers due to the need of bilateral agreements between operators. And also a very innovative services that the in-car payment module is based on blockchain technology, which provide a transparent and secure way for accounting and for the payment operation. And last but not least, the operation and the integration is also an innovative part of the in-car platform, because CPOs and EMSPs can be easily connected to the platform through the implementation of OCPI 2.2 protocol. And the accounting and payment among the CPOs and EMSP that we are designing are simple, secure, and automated, removing one of the main barriers for the practical interoperability. And another important question is that, okay, if I am a mobility manager, for example, of a city, and as I see it, currently people is not yet moving from one country to another in his or her electric vehicle. So is in-car something for the future? And the answer is no. in-car is solving the current barriers, both at a city level and at a TEN-T network level. Because the same problems that we have at European level are the same that we have in the urban area, because currently in medium large cities in Europe are operating a large number of CPOs and EMSPs. The market is very disaggregated. So, and there is a need to make all of the public stations accessible to the EV drivers, which is crucial, as we know, to remove the barriers for the EV adoption. And in-car also, on the other side, can offer added value services to the city, such as real-time and historic data usage of the charging infrastructure, which is very useful for planning. And on the other side, at a TEN-T network level, is the same. There is a need for make all of the public charging points accessible to the EV drivers, because this is key for allowing the user-friendly long-range trips. And in-car allows the EV driver use the same application and plan his or her route in advance, which improve the user satisfaction. Okay, so we are almost at the end. To sum up, we are developing the in-car platform, as you know, to boost the e-mobility by achieving the full interoperability of the charging stations in Europe. But I would like to finish this intervention by making a brief summary of what are the main benefits for the EV drivers, for cities, and for operators. For the EV drivers, having this kind of interoperability platform allows having the services integrated in all the charging points, the real-time information, the booking, and the payment. With independence that there are different CPOs, there is one single app. All of the charging points are visible and accessible, but I only have one contract. They can use the user app with their current EMSP account. This is a very powerful feature that we are providing. For cities, in-car offers the possibility to have real-time and historic information of the charging activity at a city level. It offers new inputs, so improve planning capability for the new charging infrastructure, and also maximize the service to the citizen or visitor, because it's offering the whole charging network, not only several parts or restricted areas of the city. And for operators, it is the direct benefit. The we are offering an automated, decentralized, and secure payment system. We are offering also a simple and automated accounting system, and we are offering a smooth technical integration based on the widespread open protocol OCPI. So that's all from my side. I hope have been able to transfer in this piece of time part of the knowledge that we are acquiring in this project, and especially regarding this challenging product. So thank you very much for your attention, and if you need to contact with us or with the project, here you have the Twitter, the LinkedIn, the website, or my email.
Thank you very much, Maria. That was a really interesting presentation about the tools and this in-car platform you're developing within ISOCHI. Are there questions for Maria? I see that we have 14 people in this session. So don't hesitate to post your questions in the chat. I will start maybe to break the ice, Maria. So we've seen in your presentation that the plan is to have this platform to solve one of the key challenge for electromobility right now, which was also emphasized in the introductory session before, which is interoperability. We see that there are different solutions being developed on the market for charging services. And most of the time, these solutions are proprietary solutions. So how do you think these solutions and the companies behind these solutions for charging, for electric charging, will integrate into this platform? Because what we could assume is that some companies, CPOs, MSP, would like to maintain the relationship with the clients, so they wouldn't like to be integrated into a platform. So what do you see? What's the benefit? How would you convince a CPO, for instance, to join the platform?
Yeah, to the CPO, the benefits are clear. So yeah, it's true that they want to maintain the clients, but of course for the CPO, which their main objective is to offer the charging infrastructure to the general public. Being involved in this kind of platforms is good, have benefits, but also for the EMSPs, which is not very clear at the beginning, because the EMSPs has the clients, but with UserG we are offering an alternative. For example, maybe to some not very large EMSPs that have their own market, but they can or they want to offer his clients the possibility to go to another country or to another city or to another part of the city, use the same account. So we are not trying to incorporate new users to our platform. So the user can follow using their current EMSP account, but with the UserG app. So when the user would like to go out of their normal operation, let's say, he has the opportunity to charge wherever they want.
So there are also benefits that can be expected also on their side. Unless there are questions from the audience, again, please don't hesitate to type your questions in the chat. But I think we can move on now to Richard and Claudia's presentation, who will introduce their pilot project in Berlin, whose objective is to implement these in-car tools in the city. So Richard, Claudia, the floor is yours.
Okay, and Richard is going to start, but he has to unmute himself.
We cannot hear you, Richard. Now it's better.
Sorry, classic. So, hello from Berlin. My name is Richard. I'm representing Gewobag, a public housing company from Berlin. And as Maria showed part of the solution, I want to start out presenting part of the challenges, especially for us as a housing company, as we first and foremost see the needed investments in infrastructure, as well as potential ways of how to earn money on the property. And with me it's Claudia. Claudia, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Claudia Baumgarten. I work for VMZ, and VMZ is a Berlin company that is focused completely on urban mobility. So we have approximately 50 employees. We are a small company, and we work on traffic planning, traffic management, and urban mobility information based on multimodal platforms. And what's also important is that we also operate for the city of Berlin, the editorial office of the Berlin Traffic Information Center. And with regard to e-mobility, we work on that, I think, for at least 12 years. The first thing we did was the first location concept for public charging infrastructure in Berlin. This was the first version of Click. And then what we also do is that we operate the authentication platform for the barrier-free access to charging points in Berlin, in public streets. And you have to know that Berlin is quite ambitious with charging points in Berlin. So they have more than 1,200 charging points in public streets, which are available and accessible for everybody based on this authentication platform.
Cool. But the big question is this enough?
Yeah, exactly.
As to 2030, we expect 7 to 10 million electric vehicles in Germany. And if we bring that down to Berlin, we're talking about 200,000 charging points only in residential areas. Because by the end of the day, people want to charge their cars where they sleep or where they work. And as Gewobag is a public housing company, so this is really important. So the housing company is owned by the city of Berlin. We have 70,000 housing units and 13,000 parking lots all over the city. And we are confronted with the first requests of our tenants, whether they can have charging infrastructure at their parking lot, or that they consider buying an electric vehicle and they want to have charging infrastructure at their parking lot. There are two main challenges. And as you can see on those pictures, our building properties, they vary tremendously. Some were built 100 years ago, some are built just recently, some were built in the 30s, some were built in the 70s. What they all have in common is that normally they're not built to integrate charging infrastructure in the housing, as they come with technical capacity that is made for running a washing machine or running a stove, but not charging a car. So as Antonio said, most people were concerned about the grid capacity. I'm actually personally more concerned about the capacity within those buildings. And the second point that makes it really challenging to address the charging needs of our tenants, I mean, we supported the city of Berlin in providing space for public charging infrastructure. That was in order to boost charging infrastructure, set a base in Berlin for public charging infrastructure. However, public charging infrastructure, the charging infrastructure in general, is always connected with a parking lot. So we are talking about space that is then dedicated for charging, however, cannot be rented out to a tenant. So we are confronted with investments in the buildings, investments in the hardware, plus the missing earnings on the space we normally have. So that's why we have to find really good solutions of how to install and especially how to run charging infrastructure, so that this can be done in an economic, sustainable way. Still, the aim is to boost zero emissions mobility through electric charging infrastructure. That's why I'm really happy to be part of User G, where we can like try different concepts, which I will introduce later on.
These are the main focuses of the Berlin pilot to User G products. What we do is, of course, that we work on the optimized planning of charging charging infrastructure. What's very important is the user needs, and of course, User G means user needs. To identify what the EV drivers really want to have for easy charging. Then we also work on smart infrastructure. But what's today important is in-car that has already been shown by Maria, the in-car platform and how we are going to use this in-car platform for a good information on e-charging for EV drivers. And this will be this in-car platform will be the basis for the User G app, and this User G app will in Berlin put a focus on the combination of charging and parking, and this will be done in 2 locations in Gewobag that will be shown by Richard.
I already did, yeah. The first location is in Prinzenstraße. This is Kreuzberg, a really central district in Berlin. We identified high charging needs, and not only our tenants are asking for charging infrastructure, but also like mobility providers, such as WeShare or cabs running with electric vehicles. There is one fast charger here. However, more charging is needed. And we once went to this location and made a cost estimation how much it would be to electrify every single parking spot you see there. And just to present you a number, to electrify a single parking spot outside, investment cost is around 5,000 to 10,000 euros. So what we will do is that we want to test here the concept of one charging hub. So instead of electrifying all the parking lots, we'll have one charging hub in front. So tenants and mobility providers can go to the semi-public ground and charge their car. The second demonstration site is a little bit more interesting, as this demonstration site is close through a parking barrier. For sure, tenants who are paying for their parking lot want to make sure that the parking spot is free once they arrive. So in order to access charging infrastructure behind the parking barrier, in-car must have an option to reserve and book charging infrastructure and then navigate and get access to semi-public ground. And this is what we're going to test here, if in the way that we want to integrate charging infrastructure in a digital parking management.
And how it will look like is shown in this slide. Here you see the charging stations that are going to be implemented in the Gewobag locations. It will be Quello charging stations, very new innovative charging stations, and they will be also connected with a parking barrier in Küsterstraße. So this is what we are going to implement in Küsterstraße, and this is the combination of charging and parking via, we call it a e-car spot. This is a parking lot in front of the charging station. And of course, by opening the e-park spot, you have a reliable access to a charging station, which is important. And we heard that for Antonio, that a lot of people say that blocking charging station by cars that are not charging is one of the main problems we have. This will be this will be a solution for this, and this will be done and this will be tested in Küsterstraße. And how will it look like in the mobility application, the e-mobility application, is that we will integrate the information on the charging stations and on the parking barriers. And of course, we will include this in the overall in-car platform and in-car app. And then this can be done via the in-car app. So this is what's our plan to do. And now let's have a look on what's the different focuses of the Berlin pilot partners for this USG products. And of course, you see that Gewobag has a clear focus on the business model. How can e-park charging station be done for tenants, but also for other EV drivers? Quello is very interested in implementing charging station in semi-public spaces, like, for example, housing companies, but it could be also other semi-public spaces. As in a semi-public space is a private space that is publicly accessible. And then, of course, we as VMZ are very much interested in an e-mobility app that includes parking and charging. Another partner is eCam, that has a clear focus on legal requirements on how to integrate interoperable platforms and apps in different European cities and countries. And what's also very important is the interest of the city of Berlin. The city of Berlin is an associated partner of this project, but they will have a clear view on our results and why. This is very important because, as I said, Berlin is the city of Berlin already integrated a lot of charging points in public streets. But with the increase of e-mobility, there will be a challenge for the city, because the city is growing, population is increasing, and also the number of e-cars will increase. But what's important is that the usage of public streets cannot be only focused on individual drivers and cannot only be focused on EV drivers, but has to be focused for all the transport partners and all the traffic people. And therefore, the city of Berlin is also very interested in the result on how charging points in semi-public streets and semi-public areas can also be used, and then that the public charging points maybe, let's see what is going to be done. This is a very interesting focus, and this is what we work on in Usergy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to both of you. A very interesting presentation on the need to how to better use and maximize the use of charging infrastructure, especially in private and semi-public space. I see that we have a question in the chat from Diego from the European Copper Institute. I guess this is a question for you, Richard and Claudia. He's asking about, he's wondering about the numbers, 5 to 10,000 euros by public charging points with what power?
Yeah, Diego, lovely. Thank you for the question. Well, most of the costs are actually like the access to the public grid and like digging into the earth and like doing all those pipe stuff. The hardware itself is not expensive. I mean, what we offer tenants is 11 or 22 kilowatt.
All right, that was an easy answer then. Just a last question, because we are getting to the end of this session. I know, Richard and Claudia, that in Germany and actually in the whole Europe, there are now new legislations that force the installation of charging facilities in new and newly renovated buildings. And there are also, again, at the EU level, also additional discussions in the matter. How do you see this this obligation of infrastructure, of installing the adequate infrastructure? Do you see this will really boost the electromobility, or do you think it's feasible based on your experience?
Mm-hmm. Sure. I mean, as representing the real estate company here, it definitely boosts electric mobility in cities. However, the big question is, who bears the costs? As I mentioned, I mean, buildings built in the 70s were not meant to integrate charging infrastructure. This is different on the new buildings. So every building we are building now, it's totally clear that at least 50% of all the parking lots will be electrified. So there it's possible to like bring in the capacity to plan I'm missing the English terms. But you know what I mean, to plan the technical infrastructure that you can actually serve those charging infrastructure. But upgrade old buildings is really costly. And so far, all of the subsidies that also like the national state is giving out only focuses on the hardware, but not on the pre-installation that is actually required to run the hardware.
Mm.
Okay, so there is still a long way to go before we can have all our charging points in all residential and buildings. Well, thank you very much to all of you, to the three of you, for this interesting presentation on the potential of interoperable charging and parking platform, and what can be done also at cities level. Now I would invite you back to the main stage, so you can click on the stage button on the left corner of your screen to join the main stage, where we will wrap up this session.
All right.
Thank you very much.
See you.